Welcome, great crowd, to the Stockbridge Affordable Housing Trust meeting. We're going to have a quick meeting to talk about marketing because we have 20 minutes. Marketing.
Talking about marketing. I really think we need to have a website. I think we need to have a dedicated website that shows that that we're interested in getting people involved in this. I mean, I would love, I keep looking at that house on Park Street. If we had money, we could do it, but we don't. And I don't know how long it's going to sit there. And people are coming to me now and saying, you bought the place on Park Street? We cannot buy this house. So I suggest to them that they find their friends and talk it up and see if we can do something.
Well, I think having our own website is a good way to do it. I was looking at the Great Barrington Affordable Housing Trust site today. It's a little not as fresh as it should be. I mean, I don't think it's being tended as closely as it should be. But if we should let people know what we're doing, we should ask for their ideas and their input. We can build a constituency for our work by connecting more with people. If we have programs that are available, such as the assistance for people in financial distress, there's a place where we can inform them about that. And any other similar thing that might come along, the housing rehab grants that were available, even if these aren't things directly from us, we know about.
Let me have longer this again, Mark. So I like the idea of the form for suggestions and information requests.
It will be in the notes.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's right. You have your thing there. The talking robot.
That's right.
Yes. Listening robot.
And I mean, we could even put information in there about affordable housing news and stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
And again, we could make an appeal for financial support, but I think we need to get the word out and let people know what we're doing. I think now that we've moved beyond Glendale Middle, we're sort of re-energizing and refocusing on moving forward.
Cook wants us to bring that up again, though. I heard
You feel like your leg is being pulled?
Camera.
We're on camera. She doesn't want to say what she wants to say.
Is it possible for us to have something like a website or a link on Facebook and Instagram and places that would make it, people are on there all the time, and if it's something they're interested in, it's good.
Yeah, but people get scammed on those that kind of stuff all the time too, Liz.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just
Get hacked.
information about, and we have to watch it.
Yeah.
So the word of the day, or I guess the decade, is content. So what we used to call like a brochure or a website,
Right.
it's content. So words can be put in many different places. They can be put on a website. They can be put in on the town website. One of the things I think y'all should do is go to egremont-ma.gov, because they put in Civics Plus the same week that we did. And they actually have assigned somebody to fill it with information, articles, and whatever. They've actually have about 250 posts in that. Every department that has a place on the town website can actually build out its own little mini version of its website on the town website. And a good example of that is Egremont. So
And it's Egremont what again?
what's that?
Egremont what?
-ma.gov, just like ours.
Just the
but
town
Egremont's
website.
in Stockbridge. Yeah, it's the town website for Egremont.
Well,
So I like the idea of generating this content, and I like the idea of looking for ways to distribute it. And so far, what we call inbound ways are people could go to Instagram or Facebook. We'd have a Facebook page. We could have the town website portion that is Affordable Housing Trust. We could have our own website. Those are all just ways to repurpose the same content. That's all inbound. People have to go find it. Then we could also do outbound things, which would be like, taking one of our articles and writing it in Stockbridge updates, because that's an email blast, doing our own email blast. We could spend $10 and get 5,000 views in Stockbridge on Facebook. You can buy ads in Facebook and actually get the click-throughs, a little ad that says, click here to read about,
is it that
this
cheap?
great thing. It's so cheap. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Literally $10. And so I think that that's a good one. The hardest part is pulling together the content and then organizing it into some kind of system, but it's not that hard.
Well, I would volunteer to make a considerable effort to work on the communications part. I mean, that's something that I.
Okay, so let's, what do we think? Like just the sort of content distribution? Yes, we're all in favor of that, right? Okay, good. So I think that then, based on the list that your robot will give us, that gives us a pretty good outline of what it might want to include, which is ways to try to draw people in terms of their participation and potentially their donation. Ways to discuss our plans, ways to provide news and anything that we're rolling out, for example, the rental assistance, information on our programs.
Do we want to do something like a mailer? If we go.
Yeah, I think that we should get I
Town.
think we should get the inbound stuff
Okay.
ready first.
Yeah.
And then once, because learn more, you have to have a place to go.
Right.
But the call to action, I assume, would be go to this website. And so we got to have the website up.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wonder, could we put a link to our minutes on that site?
Sure. Yeah.
Because that's really a good record of our past history and what's going on.
Mhm.
I know it's available to people if they go to the town site,
Right.
but the minutes get posted at some point, right?
Yes, once we approve.
Once they're
Did we
approved.
approve last meeting's minutes?
That is on the agenda. Yes.
Yeah, these were quite,
And we have no one on Zoom, so it looks like we don't need to do the roll call.
Oh, my gosh.
There's Bruce.
hey, Bruce. Well, yeah, right. Hi. Braces for you.
You'll see. You'll see.
So do you want to make a motion?
Camera.
For the
That's
minutes?
funny.
I'll make a
Oh,
motion to approve the minutes. Somebody second?
I will second that.
Oh.
All right, all those in favor of approving what was it, August 28th?
Yep.
August 28th meeting minutes.
Hi, Bruce.
We don't-
I just aye. We don't have to do roll.
Aye.
Right.
Just say aye.
Fans.
I hear, I
Nobody's on Zoom.
think it's unanimous.
Yes.
So why don't we take our last 10 minutes and we'll just talk a little bit about,
We only,
so communications is one thing, but also,
We only have to.
Guys.
we also may want to think about a sort of fundraising strategy. I think over the next 5 years, our prospects are good, but nothing like, individual donations or trust grants or, other trusts. Or just grant makers in general. And we have a good track record there. Hans gave us $1 million piece of property to see if we could develop it. It turned out that we couldn't, but that people are definitely, I think it's a very generous town and, we absolutely can, both in the communications as well as one-to-one, make arguments or make pitches to people to raise funds. And that's the kind of thing where someone, frankly, who wants to help us buy a building is probably our most realistic in the short term way
Yes.
of protecting some of these units,
I have a question. Update on status of legal. We're gonna do.
Yeah, everything was okay.
Yeah.
So we've got the Riverbrook grant is Erica's going to pull together. Those are reimbursement grants. So I already let Becky know. And same with Sammy. So both programs for Construct are approved. So we're good.
And Riverbrook and Construct, right? Both of them?
yes.
Excellent. Okay. They have to front the money though.
Yeah, but neither of them have a problem with that.
Okay. All right. Good.
I'm just looking at available homes right now. Not many.
Yeah. We're not ready, even if we had $3 million in the bank, we're not ready as an organization to figure out. We don't have the capacity to manage property. So, we're going to need to have the partners in place. We see an opportunity. So for example, when we were looking at house building, the one that at 14 Pine Street, we brought in Berkshire Housing. And so Eileen and her assistant, I forget his name, that guy. Eileen Pelletier runs Berkshire Housing. So she came down and I was trying to get him to put 3 units in the basement. So it'd be kind of like a New York little apartments with tiny windows, and they hated the idea. So they passed on it. But that's the kind of partner we would need if we were to find a building we wanted to buy, obviously, because we're not gonna, I don't know. I don't look good in those super, the janitor outfits, just.
You never
Well,
know.
Habitat for Humanity would be an obvious prospect, but their bandwidth must be totally
Yeah.
consumed by this project over in North Pine, North
North Plain.
Plain.
Mhm.
It's pretty ambitious
Yeah.
what they're
But
doing.
you guys, the community development, South Berkshire, you've got Construct and there may be other opportunities. We just don't want to be in the business of managing property.
Right.
I don't think. So if we're serious about looking at, a property, we might want to kind of try to get a couple of these folks interested in just, we may want to come to you with this sort of pitch.
Yeah, this one's.
Well, is it possible to approach it, say we have a chance to get a parcel of land and we have some money we can put towards it, that a developer would be interested in it if they're getting essentially a discount by whatever we can add to it. In other words, if you only have to pay for half the cost of the land or something, then we can do the other half. And that makes the thing more attractive to them. Either they have to then manage the thing when it's built if it's rental, or people buy it and then they own their property.
Right. If we're trying to make it affordable, I don't know if anybody went to the meeting last night or joined the meeting in Egremont. There's somebody that's spoken here before, Randall Arndt.
Yeah.
And it really just came up. It is virtually impossible to build affordable housing
Yeah.
in this area in particular.
It's become an oxymoron, essentially.
Yeah.
No such thing as affordable housing in a sense. Unless
So
heavily
it's really about
subsidized.
rehabbing old houses is what they were saying. This is the only way to do it. You've got the infrastructure, the building's there. You just have to rehab what's there.
Well, what about the state
I mean, you say that, but
putting in 200,000 per unit in a $500,000 unit and paying for 40% of it? I mean, if the state wants more housing, somebody has to pay for it. And we don't have that kind of money.
well, and they're gutting you see how they're taking the environmental review, which had to get done in a year, and making it 30 days.
I saw it.
Yeah. So, oops. Yeah. So look at the Brushwood model, if you will, which is a larger developer. In this case, it was Penrose, coupled with state and federal money. There will be at some point capacity to do those. Again, there just isn't a lot right now because of the unsettled nature of the federal government right now. So I think that my guess, though, is because we did bond out for 4 or 5 billion for the for the Affordable Homes Act, and some of that money, I think it's 100 million or something like that, is designated for seasonal communities. That for the towns that end up getting involved in that, there may be an opportunity to do a Brushwood style development here in the Berkshires. So, hopefully we'll get an answer on that. I heard the regulations were coming up today. I don't know if it's actually happened yet, but this is the day we can check real quick. We have 3 minutes left. Let's see, seasonal community regulations.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
If you're talking about rehab, are you gonna run into the same regulations that are coming down for short-term rentals? Where it's gonna have to have sprinklers and conditioning?
I think it depends on how big it is.
The short-term rental rules as they relate to, most times, if there's affordable money in a unit, it cannot be used as a short-term rental. It's against the law. Yeah.
But they're now tightening the regulation for short-term rental, and I wondered if they were gonna do.
And who's the they there? The town or the state?
The state. So I was wondering if that would change the outlook for, if you were trying to rehab a building, would you have to meet those kinds of standards?
Yeah. I think that our contractor told us on Old Town Hall that we could have built new for half the money that we spent renovating that thing. So I don't think that it's any cheaper to rehab than it is.
Well, it depends what you're looking at.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's a house with 3 units in it, maybe
Right.
there's something there that,
Mhm.
but, it's,
You're not gonna
a
see,
lot of times,
you're not gonna see a lot of big things here.
Yeah. Look, I go back to, I think frankly that y- I think that the people want their relatives, their kids and their grandkids to be able to live in the area. And I think that I personally support have putting some of this money toward that goal. I don't care if they buy in North Adams or Pittsfield or West Stockbridge or Stockbridge. If they want to buy and they're your kid or your grandkid and they've got a tie or they grew up in Stockbridge, whatever our rules are, I think that down payment assistance on their first house is something that we should consider having a goal. I think everybody likes their family to live locally. And once somebody moves to New Hampshire, Maine and starts their career there, they never come back. So that's one thing. We did meet with, yesterday, Kathleen Kersey from West Stockbridge Select Board, Marie, the head of their housing trust and I all met, talk about, potential, looking at some regional housing trust projects. Once again, waiting for these regulations until they come out, we won't really know what's possible to be done. But they have an interest in especially around things like, housing for the firefighting staff that we're going to be hiring, and other municipal workers and teachers doing something like that in a piece of property they have over there on Route 41. More to come.
And that's all gonna hinge on the summer,
What's that?
that's all gonna hinge on if we get chosen.
The seasonal communities let you take a portion of the units that are available and preference them differently than what the current rules are. So currently, like you can't, you can't preference, and I'm not an expert at the regulations, but it's my understanding that it opens up more preferencing opportunities for municipal workers. And that's something that a lot of folks are interested in because it helps frankly make the case for affordable housing because it's people who live and work in this community trying to make sure they can stay here. And it really struck me actually even at the Southern Berkshire Ambulance where of the 15 full-time and 15 part-time employees, 25 out of the 30 live more than an hour away. Because nobody can find any housing here. So, no, it's not good at all. You have an emergency. Anyway, I think that we're, all right, so let me just do a quick next steps.
Okay.
Mark, do you want to work on an outline?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to create a little committee to do that or we just want to just do it yourself?
I can
So you
work
don't have to meet in public?
Of
All right.
the contents of a website, like, for example, I mean, what?
Yeah, look at this, kind of start with the top and then start to flesh out what each page looks like,
Yeah. Sure, I will do that.
Yeah.
And we have another meeting in a couple of weeks, is it? Or?
Yeah, that means on the,
22nd?
on sort of like the long-term, but we can talk about this again. I'll put this back on.
Yep.
All right.
And I just, there's, with the seasonal thing,
The 20.
there's also a
The next one?
workforce, municipal workforce
it?
trust
Mhm.
that if we don't need to have affordable housing because we've met our goal, we could change from an affordable housing trust to a municipal trust, workforce trust, and be able to give the municipal workers what we would be giving to people that with lower incomes.
And when you say give to the municipal workers, what do you mean?
We could be doing the same thing, but instead of being an affordable housing trust, which ties our hands with certain things, if the seasonal goes through, we don't have to go through legislation to change over to a municipal housing trust.
Yeah.
And
Why don't you work with Michael and give us a presentation on that in the next couple of meetings? That's great. I have no idea what that entails or even what it is, but everything's on the table. We can figure it out. I think that
and still be doing the, if and when we get the money from decisional school, we'll still have that type of money to use to give to Riverbrook to construct for emergency things,
yeah.
like we're doing now. But instead of, it's just a different trust. And if we tried to do it now without the seasonal, we'd have to go through legislation to have it changed. And it would be a couple of years. But if we get the seasonal listing, then we can do it without having to go through legislation to change it.
I guess it just depends on whether we have a sense that there's a greater need for municipal workers
And that's what we've been talking about.
versus bringing in younger families and whatnot that might otherwise not be able to afford to move into Stockbridge.
They may be-
And I don't know the answer to
One and
that.
the same.
What's that?
Exactly.
They're one and the
They
same.
very well may be the same. I mean, I'm sure that, the municipal workers are, many of them are going to be probably on the younger side.
And it just
Yeah.
seems like that's what we've been throwing out the past couple of meetings is municipal workers,
But, and my question would be, can we do it through the current structure, which I believe is allowed? But it's the kind of thing that we should look at. I've got no problem looking at it.
I will-
I know the municipal worker cohort is probably, if for no other reason, going to be growing. I mean, I was just at a fire station committee meeting last night and talking about, expanding fire and EMS services in conjunction with West Stockbridge and hiring, paid full-time EMTs and so on and so forth. So that in and of itself is going to drive up the number of municipal workers, aside from the background noise of teachers, people that work in this building, et cetera, et cetera.
Highway, police, fire. Oh,
Police, fire, well, police, yeah.
4:53, we have to go.
on that note, motion to adjourn.
Second,
All right.
Next meeting is?
the 22nd.
We already have it for the
4:30.
22nd at
22nd.
4:30.